Hi guys, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and I am so excited to share this video with you. It's all about the new August release at A Colorful Life Designs, and it's amazing. I'm obsessed. So the first thing that's very different here is Mary Kay at A Colorful Life Designs has added a stamp set to her collection, and these sentiments go perfectly with what I'm about to show you. I'm going to show you first of all just kind of what you can expect when you order, how these stencils will come packaged to you. This is obviously not all of them or even close, but they'll come in these little individual packages, and then you can go to town. But anyway, I'm going to show you some of the different stencils in this release and give you some ideas on what you can do with them. So here I'm showing you there's a top piece and a bottom piece, and she laser etches the name of the stencil on both pieces, which is super handy because then you know it's facing the right direction and you know which pieces go together. So the first one I'm showing you is the Skyline Edger. At this point there are two of these. They look similar in shape, but if you look closely you'll see they are different. So they layer on top of each other, really cool. One has little cutouts for windows and the other one just shows more like a silhouette. So again, you'll see a top and a bottom piece on both of these. And I'm kind of showing you some panels that I made in advance. I also used the landscape raised stencil. This is a previous older release at A Colorful Life Designs. But what is so cool about these stencils is just how awesome they work together. When you look at them, you may think, wow, they're so simple. But when you start layering them on top of each other, you can create the most beautiful scenes. So I'll give you some examples of what you're able to do, and also keep watching because I'm actually going to demo how I do this technique a little bit later on in the video. And then also watch, I believe maybe later on this week, I'm going to be posting a second video where I finish the actual cards. I just didn't want these videos to get too long here. But these are the Tree Line Edger, and as you can imagine, when you put them together, look at that. It's just mind-blowing to me. I feel like the possibilities are endless with this. And then on the one on the left, you'll see I used the Magical Cloud Edger stencil, which you may already have in your stash, but that's a must-have, and of course it goes perfectly with all of these stencils. We have the Desert Edger 1 and 2. And you can see how those kind of pair together. I'm a little bit struggle bus here for some reason trying to piece the stencils together, but I'm showing you some examples. I used both of them together in that first panel. And then here I'm showing you, you actually use the top piece and then do the ink blending below. And on this one I'm showing you, I actually created that cool drop shadow that looks almost like a highlight. And you could see I just shifted the stencil over and then ink blended the blue background, and then that's what'll give you that cool white highlight look. So it's just another way right out of the box that you could use these. And then here I'm showing you the light gray background. You can just get a nice subtle background if you want your stamp to be the focal point rather than the landscape. So these really are so versatile. You can use the landscape stencils to create the whole scene like you're seeing in many of these cards, or you could just create a nice little subtle grounding background for whatever you want your focal point to be, whether that's a stamped image or anything like that. This Hoodoo Edger, evidently Hoodoo is what they call the rock formations in Arizona. So some of these I got later, so I don't have samples for all of them. So you'll see some have card panel examples and some of them don't, but keep watching my channel and hit the bell if you subscribe, because I'm gonna be using these like crazy town. But these mountain edgers, check these out. These are unbelievable. So I have 4 here to start, but then Mary Kay was having so much fun designing these that she actually ended up creating some designs. So you'll see after this I got another one sent to me as well. So these are just so cool, the way they build on each other. You can make them simple, you can make them complex. Really, the possibilities are endless. So here's the new one she sent me. I really like that it angles upward. I can see that really kind of working well with the other ones. So here, these are other new ones that I haven't had a chance to play with yet, but I'm so excited. These underwater edgers, I can totally picture these in anything ocean related or anything with my mermaids or fish stamps or narwhals or anything. Look at all those little silhouettes of little corals and whatnot. These will be so cool when they're ink blended. I can't wait to play with these. And she added these little additional ones to the collection of fish that will complement the other ones. So Mary Kay's been having fun designing these and I've been having fun playing with them. So here's a simple ground edger, and then we also have some simple hills 2 and 3. So there are going to be more to the collection than what I'm showing here. And Mary Kay has added an option to her website where you can purchase a master collection bundle. And this is deeply discounted. It's 20% off. That's a huge savings. So you can get literally the entire August collection, which I don't even remember how many stencils it is. It's amazing. But you can get all of that and the stamps for 20% off. So if you buy anything individually, you can use my coupon code AmyFan10 and save 10% off, but that coupon will not apply if you do the Master Collection Bundle because that's already so deeply discounted. So here I'm showing you how to create this mountain and tree line scene. I kind of laid out all the stencils in the order that I wanted to use them to my left. And in nature, if you can picture it, anything closer to be darker and anything farther away is going to be lighter. So here I'm showing you I used just one color of ink. I used a Distress Ink Chip Sapphire, and I'm starting on the bottom closest to me with the darkest ink, the heaviest hand. Now I'm using dye because I don't really want them to layer on top of each other like a hybrid or a pigment ink would. I don't really want them to do that. As you'll see, I'm going to kind of mask off as I go, but the beauty of the dye inks is that you aren't really going to have an overlap per se because they aren't going to really sit on top of each other. That dye ink is going to soak into the paper, which is what you want in this case. So you can see I'm going to start with the darkest and go to lightest. I use the top piece to create the tree line, and now I'm using the bottom piece as a mask. Now I move on to the biggest mountain that I want to use. So again, you kind of go darkest to lightest and biggest to smallest. So kind of think like that, and maybe lay out your stencils like I did, and it makes it a little bit easier. So again, I'm using the top part of the mountain. Now I'm going to go a little bit lighter in color. Again, just using that same color, just going a little bit lighter hand, using the heaviest hand on the first row with the trees. Just kind of filling that in, and I'm using my magnets on my Wendy Vecchi station tool to kind of hold the bottom part of the stencil of the tree line in place because that forms my mask. And I can even build up the masking layers by using multiple stencils with those magnets. So this tool is really handy. You could probably also do this in your Misty tool if you don't have one of these, but if you work with a lot of stencils, I really recommend this Wendy Vecchi station tool because it's very helpful. So now I'm using the top part again of the next mountain edger, and I'm using the bottom part of the last one to mask off. So honestly, when you're working light to dark like this and you're using dye inks, you probably don't even really need to do this masking part because they aren't really going to conflict with each other because you're kind of going lighter on top of it. So it shouldn't mess with your image. But I'm just showing you the benefit of having both of these pieces. It's really going to give you a built-in mask, so you can use the stencil many different ways. But I really think in this instance, when you're going dark to light, honestly, you probably don't even really need to mask off the bottom piece as you go. But I wanted to show you how that works. So again, I'm creating this awesome look with just one ink color and my blending tool, and I'm just kind of working backward in the scene. So from darkest to lightest, the farther away from me, the lighter I do the ink blending. And towards the end, you'll see I don't even bother masking, and I just end up using the residual ink that's left on my brush because I want it to be really subtle and light. So this is, of course, just one of the many ways that you can use these amazing stencils. I just wanted to show you one of the more simple ways, but how gorgeous would this be for a sympathy card, or, you know, a non-gender birthday card, or an encouragement card. I mean, I am just, I'm to the moon excited over this release. I just think it is so fantastic. And I'm finding myself, like, watching TV or as we're driving, I'm like, oh, I can make that scene. I see a beautiful, you know, sunset behind the trees as we're driving home at night, and I'm like, oh, I want to use my tree line edgers and create that scene. So it's just, it's so inspiring. It's such a fun collection, and I feel like I'm going to be able to use it in so many ways. So this is a really good, you know, piece to have in your stash. So you can see I created that fun, easy look. And here I showed you, this is actually the only stencil I used pixie spray on. You certainly could use them, but honestly I felt I didn't really need to. This one with the little cactus bits, I didn't really want them to move around, so I did use pixie spray on that. And on this one, I wanted to create kind of a sunset scene. So I have some Distress Ink colors, and I'm just going to start with yellow at the bottom and kind of move into the other colors. When I get from that orangey color to the teal, I try not to overlap too much because I don't want to create, you know, a muddy color. With the orange into blue, sometimes that can happen. So I kind of just let them hang out next to each other, but not overlap so much. And if you saw in the earlier examples, I created the same look, but I had used the top portion of the stencil to make the cactuses black, like a proper silhouette. And this one, I wanted to just leave it white for something different. So I'm just using my blending brushes, working my way through the colors, and still trying to think about how I want to create this card, what I want to turn it into. But these stencils are just fantastic, and the stamp set that Mary Kay created, they work so perfectly with these stencils. I know in my hoarding tendencies, I already had a lot of stamps that were appropriate for this type of card, as I'm sure many of us do, but I just love the fonts that she used, and they're beautiful photopolymer, high quality, clear stamps that she had made, and they're just perfect. This has got to be, I'll just say it, this is my favorite release, period. Like, this is just fantastic. Can you tell I'm excited? Anyway, so this master collection bundle, if you check it out, I will link all of the products used in the video details if you expand that. Like I said, my coupon code won't apply to that, but that's because it's already massively discounted at 20% off. So huge savings there if you have full set syndrome like me and want all the things. But you will get a gajillion stencils and the stamp set in that. Otherwise, if you buy the individual pieces, then use my coupon code AmyFan10 and save 10% on your complete order. So here I'm showing you, this is where you would kind of use the top piece to fill it in with black should you want to make that. But in this one, I decided to leave it white. So here's just some very basic, simple ideas to use these stencils. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. I can't wait to figure out different creative ways to use these. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell, because there's going to be a part 2 coming on this. So you want to watch for it, because that's where I finish some awesome cards with these stencils. So thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Bye.